In a production facility, workers were using a crane to fill and empty large powder bags. One worker went under a suspended full bag to adjust the discharge opening. However, the rope holding the bag suddenly loosened, and the bag descended toward the worker. This incident clearly shows how dangerous it is to go under suspended loads. Under no circumstances should anyone go beneath hanging loads, bags, or pallets. All tasks must be performed only after the load is fully secured and the area is made safe. At a cement plant, a worker noticed that material flow had stopped at the bottom of a large silo. As he approached the discharge opening to understand the cause, the bridged material inside the silo suddenly collapsed, creating a dangerous situation nearby. This incident shows how hazardous bridging inside silos and bunkers can be. Blockages should never be cleared from below. They must be handled from a safe distance using appropriate equipment. No worker should ever stand beneath a material discharge point. At a construction site, a worker was passing through a narrow path along a wall. At the same time, a truck was reversing toward the area. Due to limited visibility, the operator did not notice the worker behind him, and within seconds, a dangerous crushing situation developed between the truck and the wall. This incident demonstrates how dangerous blind spots can be during reversing operations. Heavy vehicles must always be guided by a spotter in blind zones. Operators should check their surroundings before reversing and ensure that cameras and sensors are functioning. Pedestrian workers must stay clear of maneuvering areas. In a grain storage facility, a worker was cleaning the floor with a broom. Meanwhile, a truck loaded with grain began reversing from the unloading area. Since the worker was right behind the vehicle, the driver could not see him. As the truck continued moving, the worker remained in the blind spot, and a dangerous situation developed within seconds. This incident shows how serious blind spot risks can be during reversing operations of heavy vehicles. No one should be near a vehicle while it is moving. All tasks should be performed only after the vehicle has completely stopped. Drivers must check the rear area before maneuvering, and warning systems should always be active. A rescue operation was being carried out at a construction site to lift and upright a large mobile crane that had previously tipped over onto its side. The overturned crane, secured with ropes, was being raised from the ground. However, one of the ropes could not withstand the load and suddenly snapped. As the rope broke, the multi-ton crane that was suspended in the air came crashing down with great force. This incident highlights the critical importance of the integrity and capacity of lifting equipment, such as slings, ropes, and shackles. The load's weight must be calculated correctly, the proper equipment used, and the fall zone kept completely clear. In a chemical plant, a worker was performing routine cleaning inside a hydrogenation reactor. However, it went unnoticed that the reactor lacked the protective nitrogen atmosphere that ensures safety. During cleaning, ethanol used in the process reacted with chemical residues left at the bottom of the reactor. The mixture of these incompatible substances triggered a sudden and violent explosion. The resulting fireball forcefully threw the worker into the air. This incident demonstrates the importance of inert gas systems in chemical processes. Gas levels, temperature, and pressure must be checked before starting work, and an inert atmosphere, for example nitrogen, must be ensured. No chemicals should be added before residues are removed, and workers must use anti-static clothing and PPE. Even a small oversight can lead to an explosion. In a narrow construction site, an excavator was digging right next to an existing wall. A worker was standing in the trench in front of the wall without adequate safety precautions. As the excavator dug closer to the base, the unsupported wall suddenly collapsed, scattering debris all around. This incident shows the critical importance of ground support and engineering control when excavating near walls or foundations. Excavations must use shoring, bracing, or protective shields, and a safe distance must be maintained. Authorized inspections should be carried out, and no one should stand beneath unsupported structures. Excavation safety should be a top daily priority. In the outdoor area of an industrial facility, a worker was standing near an operating forklift. When the operator moved the vehicle to maneuver, he failed to notice the worker nearby. As the worker was in the vehicle's path, a dangerous situation occurred. This incident highlights the vital importance of pedestrian safety around mobile machinery. No worker should be in the maneuvering zone of a moving forklift. Operators must perform a 360-degree check of their surroundings, and pedestrians should never approach without eye contact and operator confirmation. In a press factory, a worker was stationed near the barriers at the edge of the work area. At the same time, a forklift operator in the same zone began to reverse the vehicle. The operator did not see the worker standing in front of the barriers behind him. As the forklift moved backward, it unknowingly pinned the worker dangerously between the vehicle and the fixed barrier. The situation was quickly noticed, and the forklift was stopped, but it created a serious safety hazard. This incident illustrates the danger of working in pinch points. No worker should stand between moving machinery and a fixed object. Operators must conduct a 360-degree visual check. Pedestrian and vehicle routes should be separated, and safe distances maintained. In a loading area, a pickup truck was attempting to tow a broken forklift using a rope. During the towing process, as the rope tightened, the forklift's wheels lost traction, and the vehicle suddenly began rolling backward. At that moment, a worker standing near both vehicles instinctively stepped in to stop the collision and tried to hold the truck with his hands. However, as the forklift continued to roll, the truck moved rapidly toward him, pinning the worker between the two vehicles. The vehicles were stopped shortly after, but the worker was seriously affected by the incident. This event demonstrates how dangerous reflexive interventions can be during vehicle towing when control is lost. No worker should attempt to stop a moving vehicle or enter pinch points.